Congratulations on the victory. And the big difference between today and last week at this time is last week I started by saying, all right, let's get the negative out of the way, then we'll get to the positive. I did not see a single hint of negativity in that dominating victory against Arizona. So, Coach, tell us how you got it done, because that was impressive.
Well, number one, believe me, there are some negatives. And there's some things that, we had 8 penalties. Steve, and that's gonna when you're wanting to win a championship, you can't do that having 8 penalties, and some of those self-inflicted, and we got to do a better job coaching, I can tell you, and we got to do a better job of understanding, how we're going to play the game. But as long as I got that out of the way, I can tell you it was great to start fast, both sides of the ball. It really was a game where all 3 aspects, the kicking game, the offense, and the defense, all had a big part of it. Scoring 38 points, the time of possession. We won the turnover battle. We need to get more. We rushed for 271 yards, and we're 100% in the red zone. And so offensively, I thought, Jordan did an outstanding job of being decisive, being aggressive, and really leading the football team.
All right, I want to start on the defensive side because I know you love some defense, Coach. Arizona was 1 of 13 on third down conversions. We had talked last week about Cruz, and he had 300-plus yards passing against BYU. The previous week, he had 70 yards. They rushed for 49 yards. So talk up the defense right now, because you guys really were able to completely shut down this Arizona offense.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing that is, you're really proud of how we're playing when we're playing Aztec football, playing defense the way that we have standards and expectations. But I thought, we stopped the run, as you mentioned, 49 yards. We were 10 times, we were 3 and out as a defense. We had 18 hits on the quarterback, 11 TFLs. Thought that from the standpoint of a unit playing together, I thought really did a nice job. When we couldn't get to the quarterback, we were getting our hands up and making him throw balls high and all those things that you teach. So really, I thought defense played real well. The thing that ticks me off, their last touchdown, we had 45 yards of penalties, of penalty yardage, and a missed tackle. And if you're going to win championships, Steve, you can't have those things happen, and we've got to address them.
All right, let's get to the offense for a moment here, and I'm going to get to Brookshire because obviously we got plenty to talk about with your quarterback, but what does it do for your team when your star running back, boom, 55-yard touchdown run? What does that just do for the team when your star running back delivers right out of the box?
Well, obviously, we wanted to start fast. We didn't do that, the week before, obviously. And that was one thing, as a team and as an offense and, as coaches, we wanted to start fast, whether that was us gaining 1 first down in our first possession, or a 55-yard touchdown run by Greg Bell. So really was excited that we got to start that we did. I think that gives everybody a little more confidence. I think that our players responded well across the board.
So the difference between week 1 and week 2 for your quarterback, Jordan Brookshire, explain it to us, because the guy that we saw Saturday night in Arizona was as efficient as you're going to see. 10 of 14, 180-plus yards, couple of touchdowns, no picks. What clicked for Brookshire in this game?
Well, I think, and last week, Steve, we talked about it takes all 11. We were talking about Ariza and how he punted the football, and he's out kicking the coverage, and our gunners, the great job they did to get down the field. Well, it's the same thing. It takes all 11. We ran the ball well. We blocked well at the line of scrimmage. It gives your quarterback more confidence. I think it gives him a better feel for what's going on. And playing in rhythm is really important, especially, as much as anything offensively. And I think just the way the offensive line, and I'll tell you, Dan Bellinger, the game he had, I mean, it was awesome to see him with the ball in his hands and his run after catch. And so at the same time, Jay Rudolph, a young freshman for us, redshirt freshman, you watch him in the run game and using him, to block as a second tight end. So I think all 11 just played together.
You mentioned Ariza. I mean, the numbers are staggering. 2 games, 16 punts. He's averaging over 55 yards a punt. That leads the nation. He's doing all the kicking for you right now. Just talk about, Matt, and the whole idea of flipping the field when you have that kind of weapon as your punter.
Yeah, it's funny because I'd like for him not to have punted 15 times. But,
yeah.
But I can tell you the one thing about Matt, he's more than a punter. I mean, the guy's an athlete. He's a competitor. He's fun to be around. He's great to coach. I think Coach Deacon does a great job with him. He works at his craft. And, if there's something you see and you want to coach him up a little bit, I mean, he's intent and he listens, and he just does a tremendous job.
So let's talk about Utah right now, and we want to remind everyone this is going to be a 4 o'clock start, so it's a little bit earlier. Great opportunity. Get up to Carson and support your Aztecs. By the way, Coach, I promise you we're going to remind everyone all week long to get out there on Saturday. But just like Arizona, who is coming off a loss against BYU, so is Utah this week. Obviously, it's one of the best programs in the country, has been for quite a while. What do you see in the Utes this year, and what are going to be some of the big challenges for the Aztecs?
It's for us. We've got to continue to improve. We got to play better. I mean, the opponent. Yes, we'll know who the opponent is. We know, we haven't won. We haven't beaten them since 2005, and so we have to take care of San Diego State first. Have a great week of practice, and those are things that you hear every time. But they're a good football team, and Kyle's a good coach, and has been there a long time, and they have a rhythm, what they like to do. They lost in obviously a pretty significant football game for them every year playing BYU. So they're good. They got a good group of players, I can tell you, because we've recruited some of them. And also, I mean, they're a physical football team. When I think of Utah, and always have, they're going to be a physical football team. They're going to play defense, and then they want to run the ball and kick your teeth in.
You mentioned Kyle Whittingham, who's obviously been there full-time since 2005. And when you're facing a guy that you know as well as you know him and what he does, is that an advantage or a disadvantage? You know they're going to be well coached. That's a given.
Yeah.
But you also know him, and you know what his tendencies are. Does that give you any advantage as a veteran coach yourself?
Well, I don't know if it gives you an advantage. I think his mental makeup and how he or how he's going to coach that football team, Steve. And they're going to be physical. They're disappointed because of the BYU game a little bit, I'm sure of. But at the same time, they've been in those situations before, and he's going to get them back, and they're going to get back out on the practice field, and they're going to have a physical practices and get after it.
You mentioned, as I expected you would, you were disappointed by the penalties in the game against Arizona, but the ability to hit the road, first road game of the year, on the road against a Pac-12 school, and to see your team play as well as they did. I know it's early in the year, Coach, and you're going to learn a lot about this team over the course of the year, but what was your biggest takeaway for you personally from that win down in Arizona?
Well, I think our leadership, for the most part, I think we got a group of seniors who have really, jumped in with both feet in that leadership role, from Zach, Thomas to Caden and Trent Thompson, I think, has done a tremendous job as far as his leadership, and Dan Bellinger and those guys. We're going to be a pretty good football team if the locker room leads, not if I lead. And so that's something that we talk about all the time. I think I know we're going to be excited. It's going to be a blackout. We need all the Aztec Nation up there in Carson. I know it's not a typical home game, but it is what we've got, and I know our guys really respond to having people in the stands.
Well, it's a building process, and from week 1 to week 2, a lot of positives, that's for sure. And the big win against Arizona. Obviously, Coach, I'd like to clean up a few things and go next level in this game against Utah. Yep. We mentioned for everybody out there, it's a 4 o'clock kickoff, so get out there, get up to Carson, support this team, because I think we got a very special season ahead of us. Coach, congratulations again on the big win against Arizona, and wish you all the best against Utah this week.
Hey, thanks. Thanks for having us on, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, there he is, Brady HOKE, joining us, as he does every Monday, to talk about the Aztecs.